All right. Well, welcome everybody to LinkedIn Tuesdays. We have an exciting program for you today where we'll be talking about LinkedIn tools for job seekers. Please enter in the chat where you're calling in from, enter in your LinkedIn URL, what you are looking for as far as your job title and so forth. And then you guys can save the chat at the end of the meeting before you leave, and so you can network with each other. All right, let's see if it's going to scroll down for me. Here we go. Please note that this event will be recorded and the recording may be on the Career USA YouTube channel for others to view in the future. By participating in this event, you give consent for your name and picture to appear. Comments in the Zoom chat window do not appear in the recording. So please use that chat box to enter any questions. I will be moderating the questions today that we can ask Ruth throughout her presentation. And just to give you a little bit of background about Career DFW, it was founded by Jeff Morris, and he founded Career DFW in 2008. He then started CareerUSA.org in 2012 after he had a meeting at the White House and saw a greater need to help job seekers around the country. He also wrote the book, Your Job Search, and you are able to buy that on Amazon, or if you ever see Jeff, he always has copies with him. He has led the North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group since 2007, and he's been a member of the PIT Crew since 2017. As for me, I'm your guest host while Jeff recovers, and he is on the road to recovery, and it's taking a while, so please keep him in your thoughts and prayers. As for me, I'm also a job seeker. I'm looking for account director, client service director roles at a marketing research company, working remotely, and I'm based here in Phoenix, Arizona. So to give you the actual lineup of who we have as rotating speakers for LinkedIn Tuesday, we have Locke Alderson, Terry Sullivan, Ruth Lipsky, and Kurt Vandemotter. And also to give you an update on the sessions for this week, as you know, we have our LinkedIn Tuesday. We also have interviewing Wednesdays, and we also have our North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group on Fridays, and we are all volunteers helping with this. For the practice interview team, that is on the first, second, third, and fifth Wednesdays in person at the Christ United Methodist Church in Plano, Texas. You can join the PIT Crew in person and you can see somebody going through an actual interview, and then the panel will give them feedback after that. There is no online Zoom or Facebook. Only on the fourth Wednesday of the month is it on Zoom. On Friday, we have the North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group, and this week I will be the speaker regarding Crystal Knows and how to use it for your job search. So I hope that you will join me for that. It'll be very interesting and eye-opening. So to let you know about careerdfw.org and careerusa.org LinkedIn groups, hopefully you will join these groups. We have over 15,000 members in the careerdfw.org group, and we also have careerusa.org. And on the YouTube channel is where you will find previously recorded sessions. So you can click on the playlist, you can click on the view full playlist, and what you will see is something like this, where it shows you all of the different recordings that we've done in the past. Terry Sullivan does not have his sessions recorded, so you will not see his sessions there. If you aren't receiving emails about our workshop, you can join the Career USA mailing list. You can scan the QR code or you can send an email to Career USA subscribe at groups.io. Also, please note that Career DFW is a 501c3 nonprofit organization. We have no full or part-time employees, and we survive on donations. So please consider making a donation when you get your next job. And if your new company makes matching donations, we are registered. If you do not see us listed, let us know who they use. So today we're going to have Ruth talk to us about LinkedIn's tools for job seekers. Ruth is a career consultant for Lee Hecht Harrison, and she specializes in the enhancements that LinkedIn rolls out, particularly the improvements that job seekers can use. So with that, I will turn it over to Ruth.
All right, thank you so much for the introduction. And thank you too for taking over um, for people when they are hurt, when they are out. Um, this is a good service to have, and if it weren't for Patty, we wouldn't be doing this. So we're going to be talking about the tools that LinkedIn has created for job seekers. When LinkedIn was created, it was set up as an online resume service in order to counteract the online job boards that were set up. Over the years, they have developed more tools and more capabilities to help people move along in an organization and to network and find other people who might be useful for them. You have two goals on LinkedIn. One of them is talked about very frequently. It is make sure you've got your information out there, that it's readable, so that when a recruiter is looking at your profile, they'll be able to understand what value you bring, what skills you have, and will be able to make a hiring decision based on that. But your other goal on LinkedIn is to understand the LinkedIn algorithm and to be found by LinkedIn when recruiters are doing their searches. And those two sets of goals overlap quite a bit, but they're not exactly the same. So if anybody tells you that this part of LinkedIn is not necessary, or you can ignore this section of LinkedIn, don't believe it. It may not be needed for the recruiter or the hiring manager, but everything on LinkedIn is needed for the LinkedIn algorithm. And the more you have on LinkedIn, the easier it is for LinkedIn to be able to find you and present you as a viable candidate to a recruiter. So we're going to start off by taking a look at what the recruiters say when they are doing a search. And recruiters will always start with a basic search. They're going to be looking for a specific title. They're going to be looking for some skills. They might also be looking for a geographic location. In this case, utilizing a project manager title in the greater Chicago area, looking for business strategy and analytics in the profile gives them 42,798 possibilities. LinkedIn never does anything randomly. The people who are presented at the top of the list, LinkedIn has determined are the most qualified or the ones who should be seen closer for any type of a search. So Emily Dalton came up #1 on the search, Channing Curry second, Aubrey Mackey third. It's because LinkedIn said these are the best people. And there are a lot of features that go into that. You want to be in the top 100, and you will never know whether you're in the top 100 or where you rank on any of this because LinkedIn does not share that with us. But we do know a lot of ways to get you up there. So out of these nearly 43,000 total candidates, LinkedIn has provided the recruiters with some spotlight features, some filters that allow them to separate people into the ones that are probably going to be most satisfying for their search. The first one, open to work, is the most used filter in the LinkedIn recruiter software. Recruiters want to know if you're available. They don't want to be chasing you if you are happy in your job, but if you are looking even casually for another job, that's going to show up and bring you up higher in their search. Company connections. Do you know anybody in their company? This is a mutual interest type of information. They feel that if you know somebody in the company, you probably have a better feel for the culture and the activities within the company. Next spotlight features, are you interested in the company? Are you following the company? Have you indicated that you have an interest in that company in any other way? That's going to bring you up because the recruiter now feels that you probably have a better idea of their products, possibly their culture, possibly the activities that go on within their organization. And active talent. Are you busy on LinkedIn? That's normally a sign that you're looking for a job, but active talent also means that you are updating, that you are using the features of LinkedIn, and we'll go through those a little bit closer. Notice, however, that when a recruiter is taking a look at the top candidates here, there's very little information that LinkedIn is giving them to make a decision. They're giving them the headline area, the area right underneath their name, giving them their geographic location, their current job title, and the last 2 job titles they've had. That's not an awful lot of information. If you want to catch the recruiter's eye, if you want to find the recruiter's interest, you're going to expand the headline area so that you're going to be able to find what they're interested in. So what we're going to be looking at are headlines and titles. We're going to be talking about skills, and we're going to be talking about the spotlight features, the hashtag open to work, the mutual interest, the active talent. So having a headline that gives more information about what you're looking for and what value you bring is going to be one of the best ways to tell the recruiter that you have some interests, that you have some talent, that you have some skills. So if you're in the IT world and you're able to say that you are a full stack application developer, adding into your headline the tools, the software programs that you utilize and that you're good at is going to help the recruiter make a determination as to whether you fit the criteria that they're looking for. They don't need to click on your profile. They don't need to look any further. They can tell right off the top that you're the person that they're looking for. If you have a title that is a very vague title, like either a project manager or a program manager, those can be any place in an organization. They can be a high-level position. They can be a low-level position. They can have a broad scope. Put in what it is you do. So focused on, able to, specializing in. Give the recruiter more information than just title. It's not enough these days. If you're looking to say that you are maybe an accountant and you're willing to take a senior accountant position, being able to say what value you bring is going to be a positive aspect too. Increasing productivity in highly regulated industries. Some recruiters are going to pass on you, where other recruiters are going to say, that's exactly what we're looking for. Now, these next 2 headlines are very high level, and the higher level you are in an organization, the more you're going to have a strategic value rather than a set of skills. So if you're in the VP level, in this case of Vice President of Marketing, creating value for business through effective marketing strategies. That's your overall goal. It does not, you don't necessarily have to have the specific skills you use, but you have to have an introduction to a conversation that is this topic. And here, Director of Customer Relations, helping the world become more customer-centric. There are times when you need to have the skills that you provide up here. And if you are in a job that has very specific skills, software, hardware particularly, you put those in your headline. But if you are in an organizational structure where you are higher up and you have an impact on the organization, you might want to consider something that is a broader statement of value. So if Walt Disney had a LinkedIn profile, he could put CEO, cartooning, operations, administration, communication as skills. Instead, to be more effective, he probably would have put Walt Disney making dreams come true. So find something that's going to catch the attention of the recruiter that's an accurate depiction of what you can bring to a company.
Now, Ruth, I have a question for you regarding the headlines. So I know that there's some people that are just fresh out of college, right? And so they're really obviously not going to have any kind of attention-grabbing headline. They're going to have something that's more along the skills based. Or if you're new into an industry, transitioning from another industry, how would you do something like that if you're going from one to another?
If you're transitioning from one industry to another, it's probably because you have some skills and talent that's transferable to that area, and that's what you'd put in your headline area. So that you're not talking about the industry value, you're talking about the overall value that you bring to this type of position. If you're looking at someone who is just coming out of school, they can highlight the information that they had in their college experience, either through internships, jobs, or classes that they enjoyed, or the type of role that they're looking for. But it's going to be a softer type of sell as opposed to I have these skills. So coming out of college, it could be the titles that they might be looking for, uh, and then something that deals with the skills that they've picked up.
Okay. Some people are commenting that they're having a bit of an issue hearing you speak very, very well or clearly,
Uh,
that you sound a little bit muffled. So,
Let me get a little closer to the microphone then. Thank you for bringing that up.
yep. Also, somebody else mentioned, I've heard other LinkedIn people mention that you should create a paragraph explanation with the keywords as opposed to listing keywords.
You only have 220 characters, so it's hard to have too many words in here. So the paragraph might be a little bit too broad, but certainly having some statement of value, having one or two titles plus a statement of value is going to be your goal for your headline area.
And then also somebody said, I've noticed people are putting their credentials in their title under rather than at the end of their name. Like, for example, Patty Bashy, MIM, or whatever credentials. What do you say about that? Because I know that some people put a lot of different credentials after their name or certifications or degrees, or should they put them in this headline area?
We don't have a lot of information as to which one is more effective. It generally tends to read better if you have it as part of your name, because your name is always going to be an important part of the LinkedIn information. They're never going to lose your name. And having those certifications, uh, additional degrees is helpful in reminding them that you have that type of talent and ability to learn. So I like it up above with your name. You might find other people who like it within the headline area, but with the headline area, when you only have 220 characters, I'm not sure I'd want to put that as the most important information about you.
And how
It's
many characters do we have
alternative.
again with our name? Like with,
220. Oh, in your name?
yes,
Oh my gosh, 35, I believe.
35. Okay, great. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Since one of the search criteria that a recruiter is working through is looking for a specific title, you can expand the titles in your experience section. You need to have the title that your company gave you because that's part of who you are. And when they do a background check, they're going to be looking for that specific title. But you might need to translate the title so that you're able to indicate to a recruiter what you actually did in that job. So being able to go back into a LinkedIn profile, and we'll go into mine. My official title at LHH is career consultant, but most of the time in the industry, that job is called a career coach. If I want a recruiter to be able to find me and know exactly who I am, I'm putting both titles out there. The first one being what my company has, the second one being the translation of what that means, or also known as. So if you don't feel that your title gives you the full sense of what your responsibilities were, go ahead and put a pipe, the straight up and down item that's right above your enter key on your keyboard, and then describe what it is you do. The other thing you want to do is that if the title that they gave you does not necessarily indicate what job you actually did, you can put other job titles in parentheses after your official title. So as a manager of training and development, my whole job was moving on-site training, classroom training to Zoom, to e-learning modules. So although this was my title, my actual set of activity gave me the ability to take a job as an instructional designer or as an e-learning developer. So you don't need to keep the same title if you feel that your job really gave you a different set of responsibilities that you want to highlight, because the title area has a high degree of worth in the algorithm, and being able to match or at least be in the job family that the recruiter is looking for is going to give you some ability to talk about why your job was different necessarily from what your title was. And that's really common in the industry these days. They will give you a title, but you'll actually be doing something just a little bit different. And you need to highlight that, particularly if you want to be able to move into a new field that's not necessarily a title that you've had in the past. Okay, on that one?
Think so. Any questions from anybody about the title and adding in what you need to in the parentheses?
If there is a lot of content in our about section about one of our roles, should we be duplicating that here? Or how do you think about the balance between those two?
Oh, that's a great question. So you're talking about the experience section here and what you should have in your about section up here, right?
Mhm.
Okay. If you don't wow people in the about section, they're never going to read your experience section. So you should always move information up from your experience section into the about section so that you're able to indicate right up at the top of your profile what types of things you do. So let me show you somebody's profile that does that nicely. All right, here's somebody who is Enterprise Agile Transformation Coach. In her profile, she has an introductory section on the technical aspects of what she did, but she divided up her experience into the 3 areas that she felt were her possible career paths for the future. And she pulled up in these bullet points information that is actually in her experience section and her resume, but she's bringing this up to highlight the skills that she has that allow her to say that she would be an excellent enterprise agile coach, an excellent product owner, and an excellent scrum master. If you feel that you have multiple skills and are able to look for different types of jobs or different titles, so you don't have a very narrow focus on what you want to do next, it might be worthwhile to use the about section to talk about the different types of jobs you're looking for and the skills and accomplishments that you've had in each one of those areas. This is indeed repeated in her experience section, but LinkedIn rewards you for repeating things. So the more often that you say you have a skill or an experience, the higher LinkedIn values that and gives you bonus points because they feel the more often you say it, the higher level of expertise you have. Did I answer that? Okay, I got a thumbs up there.
And I think, Susan, did you have a question as well?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Let's go back and take a look at what else we're going to be working on. Expanding the titles in the experience section. Now let's talk about skills, because that's the other part of the basic search. Recruiters are going to put in a title, possibly more than one title, but they're generally going to put in a couple of skills. You need to reverse engineer your resume and your LinkedIn profile so that you're capturing the skills that are necessary for this type of role. You as an individual have about 2,000 skills. You're trying to put maybe 75 or 100 in your LinkedIn profile. You better put the 75 or 100 that are most important for that role. And LinkedIn is giving us an area called Career Explorer that is going to give you the information on what they expect to see for each job that is out there. So that's going to be, and it's rather hard to find. So Patty, we're going to put this
I put it in the chat already.
in the chat. She is so good. All right. This is now part of your LinkedIn profile set of pages and tabs. This is a separate page altogether. It is independent of the LinkedIn that you're probably using, but it gives more information that LinkedIn has available on the future of work. It'll tell you about some of the workforce data. It does have a blog if you want to follow some of the activity on there. But this is a good way of taking a look at, here's a job that I have. I'm going to say it's a project manager position. And we're going to make it an engineering. These are the skills that LinkedIn expects you to have if you have this title. And they're in order. So the higher the skill is, the more important they feel it is in order to be qualified as an engineering project manager. If you don't have these skills, that's fine, don't put them in, but you may want to consider taking classes either through LinkedIn Learning or on YouTube. There are a lot of other areas that have classes that are quick hits that give you an understanding, particularly if it's something that's a Microsoft product, Microsoft project, Microsoft Excel. All of those can be found as having tutorials in a lot of places out there on the web. Take a couple classes, get it in your profile. Even if you have to put it in your profile as classes in progress, that at least allows the algorithm and the search to be able to find you. So great set of skills. These are all hard skills. You're not going to find the soft skills like communication and leadership in here. You're going to find the ones that are generally more technical in nature. It will also give you the ability to find what jobs overlap the role that you have right now. And you can do it in a couple different ways in this sort area. So if you think that you want something that is fairly close to what you were doing before, we're going to keep this as a similarity score, and we'll see that an engineering manager has 82% of your skills in common. It tells you what skills are for the engineering manager that you might not have and that you might want to build those. If you wanted to take a look at what the popularity would be, you have some options there too. So if you wanted to move into a mechanical engineer job, it's a match rate of 61%. Normally we're looking for a 70% match or better in order to say that you can move that closely into a new role. But 61% is still a reasonable type of match to consider a job that might be one that you hadn't had on your list previously. So LinkedIn is trying to give us more information about ways to find new jobs. And their original one, as their example a little bit earlier on, was as a food server. And for a food server, here are the types of skills that you've got. And notice that these lower level do have some soft skills there. But in order to say, I don't want to be a food server forever, here are other things: a food runner, a server assistant, a restaurant server, the busser, food and beverage assistant, banquet server, guest service associate. Being able to find other jobs that you can be looking for that have enough of the skills that you've got and still be qualified for that role. So if you're looking to transition to a different role, these might not be aha moments, but you never know until you try them out. Don't
Ruth,
worry so much about your city, because that, as long as it's in the United States, that does not seem to change anything.
Ruth, question for you. So regarding the popularity, like how do they calculate the popularity? Is that based on what people are clicking on in the last 6 months or a year? Like how is this calculated?
It's actually based on how many people move from this job to that job on their LinkedIn profiles. So
Mm.
it's an actual, we have seen people do this. and it seems to be a popular thing to do.
So it's not over a length of time. It's over the whole time LinkedIn's been in existence?
No, I believe it's only over the last 3 years.
The 3 years. Okay.
But if you're looking for skills that you think need to be part of your job, and you're not sure which of the enormous number of skills you have are going to be important to put into your profile, this is a good starting point. You've got other skills, you've got other technical skills. You may want to continue to add more and more of these skills because these are the ones that LinkedIn is saying that they expect. Okay. Now let's take a look at some of the spotlight features. We said that hashtag open to work is the most used feature on the LinkedIn recruiter software because LinkedIn feels that there's no shame in being unemployed. And particularly in these last 10 years or so, mergers and acquisitions started moving very quickly and new companies were engulfed by older companies. Older companies were being purchased and reorganized by other companies. And a lot of people who were enormously talented were let go because of the restructuring efforts during that merger and acquisition timeframe. Then we had the pandemic, and companies had to core back to their basic business. And a lot of people were let go as a result of that too, for a company to be able to survive the lower economic activity. So LinkedIn is saying, we know that there are a lot of people who were let go from their jobs for no performance reasons. Quite often they were high performance people, but because of the economic conditions, they're looking for work. So recruiters are looking for these people. And if you have that hashtag open to work around your headshot, LinkedIn says that you will receive 20 to 50% more activity from recruiters. So as you look on your message tab, recruiters contacting you and saying, looks like you're a good fit for this role. Here it is in detail. If you'd like to schedule time, contact me. It does need to be refreshed. The hashtag open to work does age. And as it ages, it becomes less of a factor and you start moving down the field of the people who are on that list. So every 2 months, you need to turn it off, then turn it back on to refresh it. And that'll start bringing you back up toward the top of a search. You don't need to wait a day to turn it back on again. You might want to take a picture of it because sometimes you lose the information within that, where you had the types of jobs that you were looking for, the cities. Turn it off, turn it back on again immediately. It does refresh it that quickly. Now, there's a lot of discussion and there's a lot of different opinions on whether that hashtag open to work needs to be in a public, so it's showing on your headshot, or if it should be private and only the recruiters who are using the LinkedIn recruiter software can see it. If you feel that there is the possibility of reputation damage, you don't want to put that out. If you are looking for a CEO position, you probably don't want that in a public. You probably want to be doing more of your networking on a private side. But for most other roles, having that as, I admit I'm looking for work. I'm open to other people helping me out. It's up to you though. LinkedIn is telling us that it's a more effective way to get the attention of recruiters. Any questions about that one? Because there's a lot of discussion out there on this one still.
Yeah, it says, somebody commented, I heard that if you are a director or above, the open to work banner can hurt.
A lot of that is going to depend on the recruiter. If you have a recruiter who has been a recruiter for 20 years, that recruiter is not going to get past the idea that there was a reason that you were let go. And that reason is a compelling enough one that they don't want to take a chance on you. If you're talking to a recruiter who is just starting out in the business and has only been in their job for the last 8 years, 5 to 8 years, then they're going to be much more willing to jump at the opportunity to talk to somebody who is indicating that they are interested in finding their next role. So part of it is, does the recruiter want this? Are they going to be turned off by it? It's still up in the air as to how companies are reacting to this. All we can say is that LinkedIn is generally saying that it's a positive thing to be able to do. If you wanted to try it for a month and see if your statistics and the analytics start trending upward, you can do that also. Does everybody know where their analytics are?
Could you show us, please?
Absolutely. At the top of your page, LinkedIn is going to give you analytics, and it's going to tell you how many people have looked at your profile. If you are posting, it'll tell you how many people have reacted to that, and it'll show you how many times you came up in a search appearance. These numbers need to keep going up. There's no magic number through here as to what it should be. But as you add more information to LinkedIn, as you're more active on LinkedIn, you should be seeing that these numbers are increasing rather than staying stagnant. So keep an eye on these as you're updating your profile.
Yeah, I think somebody said I turned on the green banner yesterday and posted about why I chose to do so. That post has about 2,000 impressions in 24 hours.
Would you like for me to comment further, Patty?
Yes,
Yeah,
please.
sure.
Hi, everyone. JD Wittenberg. So I've been really struggling with this. I've been out of work. Was restructured out of my role back in January. So that's how long it's taken me to turn on the green banner. I figure at this point I have nothing to lose. Like everyone in my network knows I'm open to work. And so the way I view this personally, and I'm looking for a director or higher role, I should put that out there. The way I view this is an opportunity for people I don't know, for people who are second degree connections to know that I'm looking for a role. And I did a post about it, and I'm not just going to flip it on and not get there's equity, I think, in anything you do on LinkedIn, right? So the one thing I wanted to say, the reason why I turned on my camera, I received so many solicitations and bots. So when you choose to turn that on, be very careful. You're going to get inundated with hopefully a lot of support, but also a lot of scams and people looking to, capitalize on our misfortune. So just wanted to put that out there.
Yes, you have to be wary for sure.
The support definitely just outweighs any of the bad. So
Yeah. And Ruth, so they want to know how to turn on that open to work banner. Would you mind showing people how to do that?
Underneath your name and your headline, you're going to have an open to area. And it'll allow you to click on open to work. And within that area, you're going to put in some job titles. LinkedIn allows you up to 5 titles here. You can't have more than 5. But these are going to be the key ones that you're most interested in. If you're willing to work on site, hybrid, or remote, those are all opportunities for you. Location for the on-site, normally you'll want to put a metropolitan area. Individual cities don't seem to get the interest that a metropolitan area would. And we're not sure why, but it seems that metro areas should always be used when you're talking about geography. If you're looking for remote locations, go big. Say you look for anywhere in the United States. If you want United States and you want Canada, if you want United States and Italy, you can add more locations. LinkedIn does allow that. But if you're looking for simply those that are comfortably within your time zone and are US companies that might be an easier fit for you, keep it at United States. After that, you can say, what kind of start date? You're going to want to put immediately, you're actively applying. I'm just casually looking, so I'm not going to have as many hits. Recruiters can see that I'm not really looking. But but if something came up that was full-time or part-time, fine, I could do that. If you're looking to fill in this time while you're looking for a job with contract work or temporary work, you can indicate that also. Now, here's where we get into this visibility. You should absolutely have this part so that at least the recruiters who are using the LinkedIn Recruiter software can find you. That gives you about 50% of the recruiters who are using LinkedIn. A lot of recruiters don't have access to LinkedIn Recruiter software. It's about $1,000 a month in order for a company to purchase a license for that. But if you're putting in for all LinkedIn members, that allows everybody to take a look at it. Now, to JD's comment, absolutely, there are going to be some scams. There are always going to be people who are going to try and get money out of you. Never pay money for somebody to write your profile, write your resume, or look for a job for you. If you want to use a recruiting service, there are recruiting services out there that you can use that aren't going to charge you.
Ruth, just going back to this recruiter's question, is it still impactful if you make it visible to recruiters, but not to everyone in your network?
You're going to lose some of the networking if you don't show it to everybody in your network. Studies have shown that the second-degree connections and the third-degree connections of your network are generally going to be the most helpful. The people who are in your network right now, who probably had similar jobs, have been in the same types of companies, they probably all know the same people in the same companies and are going to be useful, but they're not going to be as useful as that second-degree connection who sees it and says, might be a good fit. So having that visibility, I think, is a positive thing. When you turn this off, you're going to click on the delete, and then you're going to turn it right back on again by going into this open to area.
Okay. And Ruth, we had another question regarding the about section. I heard that it's helpful to put your email address at the top of your about section so that recruiters know how to contact you who don't have LinkedIn Recruiter program.
I always put it at the bottom because the recruiter is going to be taking a look at your about section. And let me refresh this and show you. And they can only see the first 4 lines of your about section. If you're putting your email in there, you might be taking valuable space away from the compelling story that you're telling about what skills you have, what value you have, why you should be at the top of the recruiter list to talk to. So you can put it at the top. Some people like it there. If I have something that I think is important to say, at the top part, I'm assuming that they're going to read it and then find my information at the bottom. So it can be either place. You can talk one way or another. I know that that's one that is discussed quite a bit too, but it's not important enough for me to put it at the very top and take that space away from other things.
I think some other, people are discussing that it's at the top because, as you said, they only see the first 4 lines. And so sometimes they're not going to take the time to do the see more and find more information. And so they say, you know what, make it very easy for recruiters to find you and contact you. Then you have it as the first line and they see that information. Because if recruiters are not connected to you, they don't see your contact information. So where else do you have it? And so in that about section. So while you're in job search, have it at the top. When you're not in job search, put it back at the bottom. I mean, I've heard that kind of wisdom as well.
Or you can put it at the end of your first paragraph so that you still have an interesting statement here, but being able to put it toward the top, but not necessarily the first thing they see is okay too. Wherever you feel it's important for them. I know that even amongst the four of us who talk about LinkedIn on Tuesdays, some of us feel strongly that it needs to be at the top and some feel strongly that it can be at the bottom. So
Yeah.
whatever makes you comfortable.
Somebody asked, is there a limit to the job titles you can include in the job preferences?
No, and that's really a good point. When you're in this area for the job titles, you have to pick a title that LinkedIn has standardized. And LinkedIn has standardized 6,000 titles. But if you wanted to say that you wanted a project manager position, there are a lot of project manager positions that LinkedIn has standardized the title to, but this is not a free form area. It is one that you have to choose a title that LinkedIn has standardized. And that is a better job search criteria because most of the time when a recruiter is searching on LinkedIn, they're not searching by the internal title that the company has. They're searching for the LinkedIn standardized title that most closely matches it.
Mhm. Great. And if we were to say that we're casually looking versus immediately looking, does that significantly or negatively impact outreach?
It could negatively impact the outreach, but it wouldn't be by much. Everything you have on LinkedIn is part of the algorithm. Everything is being taken into consideration. So one thing that might be off probably isn't enough to move you that far in the order that the results are given to the recruiter.
Okay. I know that some people have asked questions about verification. Do you want to say why or why we shouldn't do this?
There are a lot of people on LinkedIn who are actually bots. There are a lot of people on LinkedIn who are scammers. And being able to verify yourself, and it's a fairly short thing to be able to do, gives a company a better feel that you're a real person. In this age of artificial intelligence and how easy it is to create fake LinkedIn profiles, resumes, it's nice to have something that is worthwhile there.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then also someone had commented about, putting in your cell phone, right? And what that could do. And so I know that you can set up a free Google Voice phone number, and then that you can forward that to your cell phone. I'm going to put the link in the chat for everybody so you can check it out.
And what you can do when you are on somebody's profile and you're not sure if they're a scam or not, you can go into this more information here and they have something called about this profile. And it tells more information about have they been verified? Is this a real person? So being able to look at a person's profile and take a look at the detailed information beyond that can sometimes help you separate out the people who are real from those who are not real.
Look how long ago I joined. July of 2004. I think I'm in the first million of LinkedIn users.
I believe you are. Yes, indeed. Okay, so let's take a look at a couple other things that are part of the spotlight features, the filter features. One of them is going to be mutual interest, where you have to let companies know that you like them, that you're interested in them. And there are 4 ways that you can do this. You can follow the company, you can set up a job alert, you can click on the interest button, and you can connect to employees. This is only going to make sense when we go out and we take a look at a real company. So somebody give me a company that they're interested in joining.
Anyone? Any company that you're looking to join?
Capital One.
Okay. As you type in, you can see that you have a lot of different options through here, but you're going to be looking for the company that's got the logo that you expect. And that's going to say that you can go onto you can follow it or you can view the page. View the page because this is going to take you to the LinkedIn page for this company. And you're going to start by following the company, which says, I'm interested in your company. I'm allowing you to put information on my homepage whenever you have activity, financial reporting, other information about the company. I want to hear about it. Following means give me information on the homepage. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to go into the About section here. And in the About section, you can come down and there's a box that most companies have that say, are you interested in working with us in the future? Clicking the I'm interested is going to bring you to the top of a recruiter search because you've indicated mutual interest. Now they're interested in you because they feel that you know more about the company and that you're going to be willing to join the company if offered, and that you'll probably stay at the company longer because you've got that interest that you've already indicated. Not every company has this, but if it does have it, it will be in the About section here, and you do need to just click, I'm interested. So now you're following. Now you say, I'm interested. Now you're going to go to the Jobs tab. You don't need to look for jobs in this area because you will find more jobs on the company's regular web page, but you can create a job alert for the company. And when you do that, you're going to put in a title, and the title is a LinkedIn standardized title. It's not necessarily the title that is listed in the company as an open position. And you're going to put in a location, and you're going to create a job alert. When you have a job alert, when a recruiter puts a job onto LinkedIn, LinkedIn is going to scan that for people who have created a job alert. And if your profile matches what they are looking for in that job, then LinkedIn is going to push back to the company. Here are 5 people. You might want to look at their profiles first. They've indicated an interest in the company. They match the needs of the job that you just posted. LinkedIn has a maximum of 20 job alerts. Some of them you're going to want on the Jobs tab when you're looking for jobs. But if you've got companies that you are targeting, creating 1 job alert per company can be worthwhile. So next way to tell a company that you're interested is going to the People tab, because on the People tab, it will tell you how many people are working at this company and who have a LinkedIn profile. So let's open this up, show more. You've got some columns where they live so that you can separate out where you think the recruiter or the interview is going to be. Where they studied, not necessarily as important, but what they do tells you what department they work in. And sometimes narrowing it down into the department so that you can be finding people within that area, or finding a person who might be the hiring manager can be worthwhile. What they're skilled at, what they studied, not always important, but how you're connected. Do you have any first-degree people at this company? You lose track of people over time. You don't know where all of the people in your network are, but being able to say that you've got people who are first degree is a positive thing, because now you can contact them, send them a message about the job that you're looking for, ask for their help. If you don't have any first degree and you've got second degrees, you can take a look at the second degrees, which means that you don't have these people in your network, but you have people in common in your networks. You can take a look through here and see if there's anybody that you might want to connect with. Never use the white connect button, because that sends the standard, I'd like to be part of your network. You're always going to want to go to the person's profile page and use the blue connect button, because the blue connect button is going to allow you to personalize the message. I am interested in Cap 1 as a possible career change. I have applied for the blank job because of my background in blank, blank, blank. Would love to talk. Let's connect. You only have 300 characters here, so you can't put too much information in, but you need to give them a reason that you want to connect with them. If the person has LinkedIn Premium, that means they're probably more active on LinkedIn and are more likely to accept the outreach that you've just sent them. The other thing that you can do is you can take a look at the university or college that you went to. So if you went to Ohio State University, there are 275 people who are currently working at Capital One who went to the same school you did. So now your connect request to them is going to be, I see you also attended Ohio State University. I enjoyed my time there. I'm looking at this job at Capital One. How do you like working there? Let's connect. Having a reason to connect is going to be an important part of your networking, and it's going to allow people to have more trust and faith in you.
So Ruth, they're saying that the free version of LinkedIn only gives you 5 free connection messages a month.
In which case you can go to join a group. And when you join a group, you get unlimited networking messaging.
Great.
So if you wanted to say, I am a project manager, and you want to join a group of project managers, then here are all of the LinkedIn groups that deal with project management. The problem with these lists is that 94% of groups on LinkedIn are dead. There's no activity, nobody is posting, nobody is asking to join the groups. They've been abandoned over the years. And LinkedIn doesn't have a good way to actually monitor that. But if you go into the group, there should be an indication of whether this one is active. You can only join a group if you have project management experience, if there's something in your profile that indicates that this is a group with project management. Once you're part of a group, then you're able to search the group. In this case, you've got a lot of people, and you'll be able to use the filters within that in order to find the people who could help you out. So that's a way to
Yeah.
get around that limit of 5.
So that was the question. How do you find people who work at your target company in your groups? So that's where you have to use the filters within that group once you've joined it.
Exactly.
And then you can filter on university or whatever.
Exactly. Okay. Let's go back and take one last look here. So you've got the 4 different ways that you're indicating interest to a company, following it, set up that job alert, say that you're interested, and that's in the about section there, and then connect to some employees. If you want to just type in recruiter, recruiters quite often are the best people to connect with because they're generally more active on LinkedIn. And if you can see the purple hashtag hiring around a recruiter's headshot, that's an excellent one to connect to also because they're actively looking for someone. Now, increasing your visibility is going to be important, and here are different ways that you can increase your visibility, and that increased in visibility is part of the active talent, and it brings you up higher on a recruiter search. So being active, responding to comments on LinkedIn, things of that sort, responding to any recruiter outreach, if you've updated your profile, if you're sharing a resume, and if you work in an organization with a recent layoff, LinkedIn is going to bring you up higher in the searches there because they know you're available. And when you're on the home page, there are going to be posts that LinkedIn feels are going to be interesting to you. Comment on those posts, but don't just say, thanks for sharing. You will get some point value for that towards your the score that LinkedIn is giving your profile. Use a minimum of 12 words. That gives you the total number of points that they award for comments. Don't use emojis, but at least 3 times a week, comment on a post. If you want to post your own comment, It can be articles from other sites that allow you to bring them into LinkedIn, but add an introduction to it so you have your own comments. Post something on a weekly basis. On Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. Friday and Monday don't have as many reactions because people are busy wrapping up or starting their day. And respond to any comments that people make on your post so that you continue to engage in a conversation. If a recruiter does message you, reply. Even if it's to say, I'm not interested, or this is a different level, I'm looking for this instead. Make sure that you continue conversations with recruiters because that's a percentage that they are tracking about you. You can't see it. It's not something that's visible to people, but they do it internally. And if it's somebody who you think is a scammer or somebody who is just soliciting something, you can skip those. You don't need to reply to those. In fact, don't ignore those folks. And you're now allowed to upload your resume. And it used to be that you could only have one resume. Now they're allowing you to have multiple resumes. And let's take a real close look at that. It'll be on the Jobs tab. And in the Jobs tab, you're going to go into your preferences. And in your preferences, one of the things you can do is you can say, here are my qualifications. Here are the resumes that I have. And you can have up to 7 different resumes, but make sure that you have a title on them that indicates what that resume is for, because you can attach it as you are applying for jobs. Also, you want to make sure that you always pick up the right one. So explore that one a little bit too. And that was the end of it. Okay, questions. You've been very good about questions along the way, so well done.
I don't see any other questions in the chat, but I know that Ruth covered a lot in this presentation. We hope that you found it very insightful and that you'll take another look at your LinkedIn profile. If you'd like, you can unmute and you can ask a question, you can raise your hand, or you can type this in the chat, whatever you would like to do. So definitely make sure to save the chat before you leave the meeting. There are a lot of good things in here. All right, Sayo, you have a question?
Yes. Hi, is it talking to me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yep, thank you. So I was wondering, do you have any recommendations for individuals who are applying to government jobs through like USA Jobs?
When you're on a government site, they are going to be asking for a much longer resume because they want to know, resume is normally going back 12 to 15 years. Anything prior to that for a company is going to be technologically irrelevant to them, generally. But for the government jobs, they want to know everything you've done. So you're going to end up with maybe a 3 or a 4 or a 5-page resume for government jobs. Match that to your LinkedIn profile. So add all of the jobs that you've ever had. They're going to want that as part of their verification that you're the right person.
Okay. Okay.
They use a similar algorithm on their search, just like every other applicant tracking system. Make sure that as you're looking at the job that you're applying for, you pick out all the keywords and ensure that you've got that in your resume.
Okay. Understood.
And
Thank you.
Ruth, one other question regarding like people are applying for nonprofits. So I assume that we would have a similar process as applying for for-profit companies as far as following the page if they're on LinkedIn and so forth.
Exactly, yes. And if you're on the jobs tab, let's get that redone. And you're looking for let's say a manager position, and you want it in the United States. If you use the all filters area here, you'll be able to go down and take a look at the industries that LinkedIn has. LinkedIn has 149 different industries. The ones that are listed here are the ones that appear most frequently on your original search. But if you wanted to say that you wanted to be in a nonprofit organization, you can sort and show simply those that are in the industry that you're most interested in. But once again, the information in your profile needs to match the information that they're looking for in their jobs.
Mhm. Okay, great. Any other questions from anybody? Well, we have Ruth, who is an expert on this. Any last minute questions you have on anything on your LinkedIn profile or what you're not sure about? Ruth, I know that you didn't talk too much about the banner this time, but I see Julie has a question.
I do. So Ruth, thank you for explaining how to upload the resumes and some of the cautions about labeling correctly. Do you recommend the practice?
The practice of
Uploading the resumes, and then if you reach your 7, can you delete or or replace?
yes, you can
Okay.
delete. I was always concerned about uploading a resume because it seemed like you had 2 pages of a resume, and in LinkedIn you had the equivalent of 3 or 4 pages of information. And I was always concerned that you would miss some skills that were necessary if a recruiter came out and picked that one up. However, now that they're allowing you to have multiple resumes and you can say, this is for a program manager, this is for a project manager, it makes it easier to add those to your profile and to allow the recruiter to see how your base resume has information that would fit through their applicant tracking systems. So yeah, do it.
All right. Thank you.
Was there another question?
Are you familiar with the actively recruiting and promoted? Anytime you do a job search on this page, if it says promoted, that means that this company has paid LinkedIn to move this to the top of the search list because they're looking to the outside to fill this role and they're looking to move quickly. So whenever you're on the jobs tab, look for this promoted. It's going to be fairly frequent at the top of your search. Well, of course, this is a big search. And actively recruiting is also a feature you want to be looking for in these jobs because this is LinkedIn telling you that they've been following the activity of this recruiter and they can guarantee that the recruiter is looking to source this job to the outside. We know that about 20% of jobs on all the job boards are ghost jobs where they've already selected somebody internal for the role, but they're posting it to the outside. They never intend to take a look at you. This means promoted or actively recruiting means that they are going to be looking to the outside and it's worth your while to change your resume to fit their needs.
And usually a question that we have is where we see that easy apply button versus the apply button. Do you want to explain that difference again for everybody?
Easy apply means that that LinkedIn has, let me get rid of this one. LinkedIn has integrated with the applicant tracking system of this company, and you can apply using your profile, or you have the option of sending a resume for this role. If you're applying with your LinkedIn profile and you've got a whole bunch of stuff in your LinkedIn profile, that's really an advantage because we know that the more words you have in your resume, the easier it is for the applicant tracking system to find the keywords and to give you a higher grade. If you are in a job that is not an easy apply and it just says apply in this blue button, it simply means that LinkedIn is not integrated with this company's applicant tracking system and you will be asked to add a resume when you apply for the role.
Yep, that's a good clarification for everybody to know because we're usually asked this question. Should I do easy apply? Should I not do easy apply? Should I apply on the website? I think that's something that concerns everybody if they should apply through the easy apply or not.
You have a complete resume or a complete LinkedIn profile and you've added a lot of information to it, it's perfectly okay to send easy apply. It's a nice, easy way to get a lot of your information out to the companies that you're interested in.
Patty, we recorded this. Will it be posted? Because my pen ran out of ink.
Yes, we are recording it. It will be uploaded to the Career USA YouTube site. I will double check with the person who's going to do that and see when that will happen. But yes, lots of great information here today. So if you need to listen to it again, you'll be able to. You can also listen to previous sessions on the Career USA YouTube site as well. Make sure you save the chat. There are 3 dots up by the title if you're on Windows 10. If you're on Windows 11, there's a little caret at the bottom under where you type your chat information in, and it'll say Save Chat. So hopefully everybody will do that. And if we don't have any other questions, then we will end today's call. Good luck, everybody, this week with your interviews and your job search. We wish you well, and we look forward to seeing you at next week's LinkedIn Tuesday, where I will have Locke Alderson as my guest. All right. Have a great day, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.